Recent decades have seen rapid growth of the world economy, and this growth has driven in part by the even faster rise in international trade. In a bid to show how unemployment can be reduced, many young people have decided to get engaged in international trade and at the same time bring about national growth. In Ondo, some youth were met with our correspondent Ruth Aluko, who expressed the importance of the participation in international trade. To take a listen.
International trade, which is the barter of goods or services among different people, is an age-old tradition that is practiced between members of different nations. International trade and the accompanying financial transactions are generally conducted for the purpose of providing a nation with commodities it lacks in exchange for those that it produces in abundance.
So international trade could be very broad. The practice, the method, the system, being a world that is now more of a global village where you do a lot of things on the internet. Sometimes most of your activities as an international trader may not be visible. Sometimes it is visible. A lot of things are done virtually now, so you really don't have to be in a particular place to participate in international trade.
Youth participation in international trade. Well, you agree with me that the future of any country rests on the shoulders of the youth. So that alone tells us that the future of international trade rests in the hands of the youth. If we should focus our lenses on Africa as a continent where 65% of its population are people under 25 years, this tells us that youths largely make up the future of this continent.
As unemployment is eating deep into the life of youth, participating in international trade can help to curb financial crisis and generate income necessary for standard living.
International trade can be the backbone of an economy because if you look at the map of the world very closely, those countries that don't trade much and those that trade in just oil and gas, they fall in regions which suffer political and social instability. This is not an accident because when I'm trading with you, I understand that what affects you affects me. So if I have economic policies or government policies that will help your economy in order to better my trade with you, I will definitely liaise with you to bring that into my country or to take that to your country rather and work on that so it can boost a country's economy.
How much should Nigerians know today that we can say that we're exporting our intellectual infrastructure to the outside world? Time was in Nigeria when Nigerian certificates were much more valued than foreign certificates. But as it is now, most times there's no light for you to sleep in the hostel. Most times there's no light for you to do transaction on the internet. And so your level of participation as a youth might not be at par with what obtains in the outside world. Given the consequence of the COVID-19 and the consequence regarding people having to work virtually, in the outside world, people don't go to work anymore. They don't go to offices. You are working with a bank in America, for instance. You could sit at home and be working in a bank. But again, given the fact that Nigeria had to go through some economic problems, wherein the students, the youths are into cybercrime, a lot of those things are not allowed to be done here in Nigeria because if you do that, they feel that you are going to short-circuit their system. Teachers, when you are teaching a course in the university, for instance, basic teaching methodology requires that you use teaching aid to teach the students. So it's not enough for you to recite what is inside textbook for the students. You should know it. When I'm teaching mathematics as a youth corps, even though I studied literature, if I want to teach geometry, I use the structure, physical structure, to talk about, congruous angles and whatever. So we must be able to. Nigeria has a lot to do regarding exploiting their youth and making their youth relevant regarding their labor, the quantum, the quality of their intellect, and doing something that is legitimate.
The government can help by simplifying the rules for small, micro, medium enterprises. These are the backbones of most growing countries, most underdeveloped countries. So if you can make credit available for them and they have access to these credits, it will help them export more. And this is what is going to strengthen the international trade between them and other countries. So if the government can simplify these rules, become a bit lenient on some policies in order to allow these small firms, which are mostly owned by youth. The ITO says that almost 2 times youth has the probability more of starting a business than those that are above 35 years. So if you can make these rules for them easier for them, it will help their export and it will back up the international trade greatly.
Youths represent the future of a society and its economy. Hence, as productive economic opportunities for young people are critical, it should therefore be encouraged in order to achieve a sustainable growth, development, and social stability. Ruth Aluko, reporting for KAFTAN Television.